Good evening. This is the April 8th, 2025, 6 p.m. meeting of the Leominster Conservation Commission. The public is encouraged to follow along with the meeting using the posted agenda. I'd like to ask everyone attending this meeting to please silence your devices. My name is Jesse Averka. I'm the conservation agent for the city of Leominster. Before we begin, please allow me to confirm which members are present. Bob Seacard.
Aye.
Mike Seachy.
Here. Seeky, please.
Seeky.
Yes.
Mike Seeky.
With two C's, not three.
Two C's, but Mike Seeky.
Oh, we're gonna get technical, it's Chiha.
Okay.
Nick Venti.
American version.
Vice Chairman Richard Gulick.
Here.
And Chairman Chuck Raymond.
Here.
All right,
All right.
take it away.
Thank you, Jesse. Just in case you know, just if you're wondering, I'm not praying, nor am I demure. Nobody will ever call me demure, I'm just cold. So it's like, pull my hands
No
up a little
heat
bit.
in the building,
Yeah.
so
Oh, really?
Sorry
we
about
extend
that.
our apologies.
He's got a space here in his office. I asked him if he could bring it in. He had to bring it in, so at least the agent, the chair would be warm, but he didn't think that was fair. So just, and nobody's ever called me on this, but moving down the agenda, public comments. That's where, if there's anybody here that has any questions or comments for the commission, that's not already on the agenda. If you have anything, now is the time. If not, we'll move on. All right. Still waiting for somebody to call me on it. All right, under new hearings, I'll go ahead and read the first one into the record. Notice of intent, Corey is a bazillion.
Bazillion, yeah.
That's a big number. Sorry, that was a stupid joke. Corey Bazillion, represented by Matthew S. Morrow, Environmental Consulting, for the construction of an in-ground swimming pool within the outer 100-foot buffer zone at 750 Wachusett Street with a new DEP number of 1991213. Is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Sir, introduce yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Matt Morrow. I am the principal and sole employee of Morrow Environmental Consulting out of Leominster, Massachusetts.
So if you have employee problems, it's your own damn fault.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Fire the son of a gun. So as Jesse is putting up on the screen now, that's actually I think if you go a couple more, you'll probably
Yeah.
find the actual.
Already went past a couple. You're looking for-
Yeah, no, keep going down. You gotta go
Oh,
past
okay.
past the NOI form.
All right. There we go.
There we go. And you guys have the physical
Yeah.
handouts in front of you?
Yep.
So what we have is a notice of intent application that DEP has issued a file number on with no comment for a swimming pool. It is a 30 by 15 foot in-ground pool within an existing concrete patio area. There is an existing shed on the end of the concrete patio area that's going to be moved back onto the existing lawn 15 feet. On the plans, in a white line sketched in front of the wetland line, I am proposing staked-in wattles. The wattles would be staked in every 5 feet. They would be a minimum 8-inch wattle, which would protect anything from potential erosion issues. The pool itself is a saltwater cartridge pool, so there's no backwashing involved. Mr. Snyder from Snyder Pools is here if you have any questions on the construction technique, but normally the way Ed and crew do it, when they cut out that part of the patio that they're putting the pool in, they take all the material, excavated material, immediately off-site, except for a small amount that they push in right away once they, put the foundation part in. And I think you'll vouch that you just don't like to deal with material on-site.
Stockpiling of any sort, everything's gonna be hauled away, and then we're gonna be setting and backfilling all of the crushed stone.
So there is no fill stored on site. We have erosion protection in store. There will be no backwashing on the filter. It's a cartridge filter. It's replaced every so many years. And this is in DCR territory. I sent a copy of the notice of intent with an application to DCR. They reviewed it. They gave it its approval, which Jesse also has in the file.
Okay.
So that's the Reader's Digest version.
Okay. I just have one question. The area between the pool and the wattle, the erosion sediment control, you have to get equipment in there, and if so, is there enough room?
We have we'll be running about a 5-foot width machine through there.
And so how about how wide is that area?
It's about 25 feet.
Oh, so that's 25 feet,
Yeah.
interesting, okay, all right, that looked like 10 feet to me.
Well, I mean, the water looks like it's 10 feet in the drawing, but if you put the water up against the wetland line,
That's
I actually did a measurement, it's about 25 feet.
Fair enough, okay, that was my only concern was, how you get, so, all right, what, is it mini excavator type of thing?
That's correct.
Okay, all right. That's my only question, anybody else have any comments?
I believe
thoughts?
Commissioner Shihai had a question.
yes.
Chia,
Chia.
let's get this right. Depth of the pool, and have you checked the water table?
6 foot, have not yet.
Is it
That'll
just
be,
a 6
we're
foot?
gonna do exploration, day one, see where we're at with
Okay.
water, yeah.
Anybody else?
Yeah,
Bob?
Matt, will you be removing any trees?
No.
And where is the water? Is there standing water nearby? And is-
There would be standing water within the actual wetland itself.
Okay, so
It's more in the back than it would be on the side by Wachusett Street. So that would be, it's hard to read in the blue, but it's wetland flag 12, which is,
In here
comes up to
somewhere?
Wachusett Street.
Uh,
It would go actually down back, behind flag 6.
Yep.
So that area over there is where there's the standing water, and there's a tributary
Okay.
stream that goes way in the back there.
Okay.
So everything's actually kind of flowing in that direction from Wachusett Street out.
Going down,
Yep,
top to bottom?
yep.
Okay.
how far, Matt? It looks like it's pretty far back.
It is very far back.
Okay, from the GSI map, okay.
And, I'm sorry, and one more question.
Shoot.
When moving the shed, it's gonna sit on block, or you're gonna put,
Just crushed stone and block, yeah,
Just crushed
no
stone.
pad.
Okay.
All right, anybody else?
Will there be flammable material installed there?
Material. There's no heater,
No, it's a non-heated pool, and it's a cartridge filter, so, just your standard electrical conduit that would be connected to the house, so
Yep.
you'd have to go through, I'm assuming,
Well,
the
the-
electrical inspector
The
usually?
electrical inspector's gonna come, the equipment's gonna be on the, to the left of that existing deck.
Okay.
And the left on the
Sorry.
existing deck is also concrete patio.
I'm sorry, will you say that again?
The left by the existing deck is also part of the concrete patio that's remaining.
Obviously, yeah,
Yep.
got that, okay.
So,
All right, anybody else? No? All right, anybody in the audience have any comments, thoughts, questions about the project? Nope? All right, with that then, I'll entertain a motion to close this portion of the hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Nick. Second?
I can second it.
Thank you, Bob. Jesse, what are your recommendations?
Forgot about that.
What's that? Oh, so we had,
Yeah, sure.
Skip
Yeah,
right
so
over that,
for
sorry
a
about that.
roll, Bob,
I was missing something.
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
and Chuck.
Aye.
All
Sorry about
right.
that. I was
All in
thinking I
agreement.
missed something the whole time, okay.
It's so easy to forget. I forget about them all the time. Yeah, I mean, I don't have any concerns here. It's an
Okay.
existing concrete pad that it's going into, and then,
Okay.
the shed is being moved back, but even that is still, I was out at the site, it's still relatively far away from
Yeah.
where the actual wetland is, so.
Okay.
I would recommend issuing an order of conditions with standard conditions. I mean, I don't really see the need to include the special ones, the page that you guys came up with.
Yep.
We can, but I don't think it's,
Okay.
they're not gonna be refueling or doing anything like that, so.
All right. All right, with that then, I'll entertain a motion to approve the NOI with the commission's general conditions.
I can make that motion.
Thank you, Bob. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Michael.
All right, for a roll call, Nick,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
and Chuck.
Aye.
All
So,
right.
Jesse, when the order is ready, just shoot me an email, let me know, I'll come pick it up by hand, and I'll make sure it gets recorded right away.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah. When are you guys looking to get going? Just because the way that we've been doing it is I'll have it signed at the next meeting, so you're all right with 2 weeks?
Perfectly fine.
All right, great.
You should call, I will not be here if you, so if you want
Oh,
to
okay.
sign in the
Yeah,
meantime,
if
let
you
me
can
know.
get it
I
before.
can run down.
All right, cool.
Yeah, and that's fine, just let me know when it's ready, and I'll just run it right out and get it recorded and get you the info.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Matt.
All right,
Thank you,
All right, thank you, sir.
folks, thank you very much.
Thanks, Matt. Good
Appreciate
luck.
it.
Always a
Thank you.
pleasure.
Glad to get out of your way.
Thank you thank you very much.
You're welcome. He likes that.
I've never heard it put that way before. That was good. Wow.
What I think of it.
All right, moving on. Read the next one into the record. Notice of intent for Cross Point Associates, represented by Douglas Dillon, Goddard Consulting LLC, for proposed improvements and construction for the redevelopment of a currently existing fast casual restaurant building, formerly a Pizzeria Uno at 905 Merriam Ave. And no DP number yet?
Oh. Yeah, let me bring it over. I can pull it up on the computer too. Whatever you wanna do.
Yeah, whatever works for these guys, honestly.
Yeah.
You get mine?
Yeah.
Pretty good, man.
Look at that.
Oh. Last guy would have struggled.
If you put it over there, see,
Yeah,
the TV can't see it from there.
Nor couldn't the other.
Yeah, I
No,
can,
So you need to be back here.
back here or just put it up on the TV, one of the two.
Can I just pull it up on the TV?
Sure.
If it works for you.
Yeah, why don't you do that?
Yeah, I'll just hold this left something to point to.
Yeah.
So we know. And we'll rely on the digital for the.
I want you, hold on a second, let Jesse get back situated.
Yeah. I did order the laser pointer. We're gonna have that, but
Nice.
unfortunately Doug's gonna have to make do with it.
That's all right, that's all right.
Open up the city coffers to get a laser pointer.
Yeah.
There's still no DEP number?
No, not for this one, unfortunately.
All right. So yeah, we'll got to hear it, we're not gonna close it though?
No.
Pending any comments from DEP?
Yep.
You feel going, you can start,
Yeah.
start describing the project
So-
while he's doing that.
As stated, Doug Dillon of Goddard Consulting, here presenting a Chick-fil-A over at 905 Merriam.
One second, Bob, what's the
Did
matter?
he state his name?
Did you state your name?
Yep, Doug Dillon.
Doug Dillon, yeah.
Doug Dillon?
Yep.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A at the old Pizzeria Uno in the Twin Cities Plaza. It's a totally existing commercial development being essentially renovated from the ground up to accommodate a Chick-fil-A drive-through restaurant. We're actually losing about 300 square feet. We're losing 8 parking spots. You know, that's due to the inclusion of substantial landscaping and some reduction of parking space area, because obviously it's not going to be a dine-in restaurant. They're more focused on the drive-through, and so the total impervious and asphalted surface on the property is going to be less. The jurisdictional resource area pertinent to this project is actually like it was actually kind of cool, like it was like probably one of the first culverts that, you know, maybe even installed for Route 2. It's just like a granite blocks up the side of Route 2, it just bleeds water. And that is resulted in a wetland resource area right here, and it serves actually the drainage of the total commercial
So
side.
that's the wetland in question?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Between the building and
Stone Market.
Hannaford grocery
Hannaford,
store.
Stone
Yeah,
Market,
and
Hannaford.
yeah. A little tough to see if you, oh, there we go. That's the proposed right there. You can see, you know, they're really focused on just kind of turning much of the existing parking infrastructure into accommodating the drive-through traffic. And so that'll include, as said, the elimination of a certain number of parking spots. They're redoing the stormwater. The stormwater has been compiled by Bowler Engineering. So if there's any, you know, stormwater pertinent questions, I'll just direct them to those folks over there. But
Is somebody from Bowler here?
no.
No, okay.
I would like to know how it's being changed, the stormwater. Right now, it all drains to that one corner.
Yeah, they're
Paved berms all around this, the both sides, and then it drains to one storm drain.
yep. There's going to be actually it says on one of these right here. Yeah, there's going to be about 5, 6, 7, 8 small ones. 8 what is that? 4-inch pipes. You know, all across the perimeter of the property, and a lot of them not even into the, or near even the resource area.
So currently, all the parking lot runoff that goes in that direction goes into that one storm drain, then into the
Yes.
wetland?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So they're totally redoing it.
It is going into the wetland from there, that storm drain?
It does, yes, it does, yes.
Does-
I couldn't tell looking at it.
It does go into the city system, which goes right to the wetland?
Yes.
Okay.
Unless there's some drain 100 feet out, that's totally not in my project
Okay.
area, so,
Yeah.
but to my knowledge, yes. Yeah, the rest of, I mean, they're, gas and electrical, that's not necessarily relevant or pertinent to the project as far as the conservation is concerned, or to myself either. Thank you. Yeah, it's a very straightforward, I mean, the 90% of the parcel as is paved and or occupied by the existing restaurant structure.
I have one question when you get a chance.
Yeah.
No demolition at all?
I assume they're going to be chipping away,
I mean, no pieces of the building are coming down, nothing's gonna be excavated,
so they're gonna be probably cutting out a lot of the sides to, redo the glass. They're not knocking the structure and building it ground up, so, but any, if you, would like to include in the condition, proper disposal of materials and, happily do so.
It's already in the condition.
Did that have any mark out for where, like, do they have a designated snow storage area for anyone on? I looked, I might
Yeah.
have missed it, but I couldn't.
the plaza does.
Yeah, not this parcel itself, I mean, it's part of an enormous commercial plan.
Yeah,
no,
they
yeah.
all take it,
Yeah, so I
okay.
assume there's some sort of joint agreement.
That's kind of, okay,
There's snow in front of this building right now.
95% of the,
yeah.
Is that really?
Yeah, there's one.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I figured, is there must be one huge one somewhere. And I've already had issues with other spots in town where now it's, April and there's still a big snowbank that's been picking up salt and other crap and it's sitting right next to
yeah,
it.
this
April
property is
snowbanks.
sat fallow for probably 2 or 3 years now, and obviously
Yeah.
it's not, they're gonna take care of it with an operating and running
Mhm.
restaurant, the Chick-fil-A, they like to keep their presentation nice.
I have a question. You
Sure.
said you're gonna be losing about, 300 something square
Yep.
feet of impervious area. That's gonna be what, landscaped beds?
Yep.
Are those landscape beds gonna be surrounded by a curb?
Yes.
Which makes, I would rather see, if there's some way you can do this, put some kind of cuts in those curbs, to let the water into the landscaped area and infiltrate naturally.
Yeah.
Instead of being shoved across the parking lot directly into the wetland.
Sure. Yeah, I'll
Is
bring
that
up.
possible?
Yeah, I'll bring it up to the design engineers, absolutely.
All right.
Elevation and slope.
Yeah, correct, yeah, if feasible.
Yeah.
Bring it back to the engineer and see what they say. But yeah, it would reduce the amount of water going directly into the
Yeah,
wetland. It would also help water the plants.
The property, except for the storm outlet, is curved
Yeah,
around the essentially
Yeah.
perimeter of the whole parcel.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just parking sign.
All right, you all set?
Yeah. Any questions, want me to kind of get ahead of us?
That's what I'm gonna get. You got thoughts, comments, questions, folks?
I'll be here next meeting anyway, obviously,
Yeah,
we'll get
you
a
would know
DP
number.
number regardless, so, if you think of anything in the meantime, happily, comment, but,
Anything for tonight for him?
Yeah,
Yeah, Nick?
so your notice of intent included, just two details with that. The letter was addressed to the town of Shrewsbury, their Conservation Commission, actually.
which one?
The letter attached to the cover letter attached to
Oh.
the notice of intent, it was addressed to the town of Shrewsbury, not the city of Leominster.
Is that the one that had the very old letterhead from us on it? Because one of them had,
No, I think he's,
No,
I didn't
in-
notice that, I
in
think it's
the-
just a letter that we got.
The notice of intent
attached to his
attached to
letter.
the cover letter for
Yeah.
that. The second issue was, you presented some borings, I believe, in the, attached to the.
Oh, yeah, that was my wetland soil samples there, in the wetland board report.
I think they were from Worcester, the borings were from, I think the borings were from a site in Worcester, a Chick-fil-A in Worcester.
Oh, the borings?
So, yeah, I just want you to be aware that some of the information attached to that notice of intent doesn't seem to be appropriate.
Oh,
for
well,
this
Tighten up the
purpose.
process a little bit.
Where was that?
Yeah, you might wanna revise your letter to include, or your notice of intent and the attachments to.
Are you talking about those, or?
Yeah, let's,
There was
I'm assuming that this is.
See what we got.
At the,
What's the latitude and longitude?
I think it
Up to the
was,
top.
it was the end,
Yeah, Miriam Ave, Leominster.
No, if I remember.
I think it was the, not the split spoon, but the, I thought there was some borings from Worcester on the bottom, at the very end of this,
Yeah, maybe. Oh, let's see.
At the very end of the
Paperwork.
document. It was this, that document, I think. Was this one?
I think it would have been
Maybe.
in the.
Data forms.
Yeah, these borings at the very bottom.
Oh, those are,
Yeah, the geotech reports, these are,
Oh,
these
okay.
borings. They're from they reference a Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, location Stafford
99
Street, Worcester.
In Worcester. So I'm not sure these are
yeah,
relevant.
those,
to-
that wasn't me. I
Oh.
think that
Listen,
might have been some reference
I'm not
points
saying
put
it's
by
just
the geotechnical
But if you
engineer.
could,
I'm
Yeah.
just
those
saying,
need to be replaced.
Yeah.
So then I need to, again, tighten up your processes a little
Yeah.
bit.
yeah, I'm just saying, you want to
That's fine.
attach, yeah.
Okay, thanks, Nick, appreciate
Yeah, I
that.
think that's my
Yeah.
intention.
And
Sure.
Can you go up to notice of intent?
You all set, Nick?
Page?
Yeah, I'm all set. That's
First
those-
page?
But,
Yeah.
but to the extent that you're reducing the impermeable surfaces
Yeah.
and improving
I did.
stormwater,
He
making
is
improved
right about
stormwater, I
the
appreciate
decision.
that.
Yeah.
That's great.
So that says Leominster.
Or was it?
It was just those.
I did notice.
It was
not-
just those,
Not trying to harp on it
yeah.
too much, but I noticed the same thing.
Are you at the right meeting?
I think so.
He is. I did.
No,
I
it's-
looked at it and I was like, it's just one error. Everything else does. Or I didn't catch the boring thing, but that
All
might
right,
have been.
well, I don't wanna spend too long going, so yeah, if you could just,
Yeah, I'll bring
Yeah,
that
look
to
at the things that Nick
the,
mentioned.
the engineer there.
Bob,
Yeah, I just wondered if we have any history. I haven't been on the board long enough to know if we had any problems in this area. I mean, that back of that building's been trashed, I'm sure, Route 2 and runoff for years now. And has there any been complaints or we know of anything?
not that I've been.
There is a lot of garbage out there,
Yeah.
but it's kind of,
That's-
that entire Twin Cities Plaza is just.
Yeah, yeah.
And that at least has, like on that plan, it has the pad with where they're gonna have the dumpsters.
Yeah, there's like a stockpiling.
Yeah, it's
laid
kind of
out.
like a separate, and that was on the direct
PCBs.
other corner from where the resources is.
If you go behind Hannaford and look at their dumpster. Not that I have, but I can imagine, anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll all get
yeah,
cleaned up
yeah.
as part of the,
All right.
process eventually.
Anybody else, thoughts, comments, questions? No? All right. All right, anybody in the audience have any questions about this one already? Then I'll entertain a motion to continue the hearing to, April 22nd?
Yes, you got
Okay.
it.
So I'll entertain that motion.
I can
Thank you, Bob.
make the motion. I'll second.
Thank you, Rich.
Bob, Rich, and for the roll call.
Thanks, Doug.
Yep, I'll have the engineer figure their stuff out.
Please.
Yeah, thank you, Doug.
Yeah.
Bob,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
and Chuck.
Aye.
All right, continued, April 22nd.
All right. Thank you, Doug.
All
Appreciate
right,
it.
see you in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right, moving on. Again, reading to the record. Notice of intent. Randolph Hausman, 188 Central Street LLC, represented by Douglas Hartnett, High Point Engineering Incorporated, for the proposed repair of an existing and previously damaged retaining wall and to extend an existing culvert further downstream to help prevent further damage to the bank and retaining wall at 188 Central Street. A new DP number, I understand, 199-1212, if that's your understanding. Great, let's go ahead, just for anybody else, this is for, and I'm glad to see you folks here tonight, thank you for coming. This is for the CVS on Central Street where there was several retaining wall collapse or a bunch of issues with the September 11th.
Catastrophe, I classified as.
What was it?
Catastrophe,
Catastrophic.
catastrophic failure.
During the September 11th, 2023 flooding. And, I'm sorry, introduce yourself.
Thank you. Mike Fabiano with High Point Engineering, Nick Kondek with High Point Engineering. So we have a Nick and a Mike. And we have representatives from Greenscape Landscape Services, and also Art Allen from Ecotech here with
Okay,
us.
super.
as well as the butters that are adjacent to the property, who we've been in contact with. So I think we have all parties represented. So thank you very much.
Just very quickly, I think we've all been here. I know Jesse and I met somebody else out there last Friday afternoon. Well, it was you,
Yes,
sorry.
yes.
You're actually with the hair all combed.
Cold
All right,
snow.
So yeah, see, it's a bunch more questions, but it's good to get an idea of what's going on. So anyway, back to you.
Thank you, thank you. So I prepared a quickie presentation, just to run through a little bit of the history. So this is a notice of intent application, security order conditions to do a repair and a stream restoration of the stream channel, as well as the 2 retaining walls that failed. Go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So not all the team members are here. There are a few other people that are representing the team. The owners, CPS, are not with us tonight. RMA Environmental is the hydrogeotechnical firm that's associated with the project. And the geotechnical engineer, Miller Engineering, is not here, but they're associated with the actual repair of the retaining wall itself.
Quick question.
Yes?
I was asking him last week if there was any kind of a geomorphologist associated with the team. Would that be RMA?
Well, both, yeah. So RMA is hydrogeo and Miller is straight geo. So Miller is associated with purely the retaining wall, and RMA is associated with the hydrodynamics of the stream channel, the embankment, the armament.
That's what I'm
Correct.
looking worried about. Okay.
That's correct.
Super, all right, good.
Got everybody. Next slide, please. So just a little bit of history. The next slide will have some dates on it, but I just figured I'd give some people some history. So the top left hand is what was original before the event that happened. I believe it was in October of 2023. And then the slide to the right, to the top right, is when it first failed, and the parking lot was significantly impacted, and the retaining walls got blown out. All the pictures down on the bottom is basically the emergency repair. So the last meeting that we were formally at in front of this commission was before any repairs had happened. If you recall, there was about a year's time in between the October event in 23 to 24. September 11th of, sorry, not October, thank you, September 11th of 20. There's actually a date on the next slide. For some reason I have October in my mind, so apologies for that. So after that meeting, immediately after that, then there was emergency repair that happened. All that you see there is the repair happening, and then the picture on the right-hand side is a more recent picture of all the bales that are in place and securing of that embankment area. So the abutting neighbor had a more safe condition on the opposite side of the stream channel, which is still on CBS property. Next slide, please. So the dates, so there you go. September 11, 23 was when the dam breach or failure happened. A few years ago, there was an enforcement order in July of 2024. We had a Conservation Commission hearing on the 6th of 2024. Emergency work happened right after that. The emergency work was completed inside a month or two in 2024. So right after all of that emergency work happened, we knew that we needed to put a permanent plan in place to be before you tonight to do a notice of intent application. Originally, the intent was we met with Nicholas Krem, who was the Conservation Commission agent at the time. That meeting, that started the process. At the beginning of the project, we had a repair in order where we were going to actually modify the culvert to put like maybe an 18-foot extension on it with a turn, and then we were going to replace the entire retaining wall from the beginning all the way down to the end of the property. At that point in time, we thought we could do that work under what's called a self-notification with the Army Corps, because we're doing work right in the federal waterway. What ended up happening was we were going back and forth with the Army Corps, multiple meetings. It turned into like a year and a half of permitting was going to be required that was going to be outside the Conservation Commission to go through a 401 water quality certification, a 404, a full 404 permit. It was going to turn into a MEPA filing to do that. It ballooned to a point where we actually pulled back that idea because the wall, as you can see, is in disrepair. And if it was gonna wait another year or so, it was gonna be, the potential was gonna be at a greater risk for a larger failure. So, working with the Army Corps, we throttled back the project to do a closer to an in-kind replacement to fix that wall that's on the CBS side, fix the wall that's on the residential abutter side, but bolster the wall in so much where in the original condition, it did not have a armament that was on the toe of the wall, and at the end of the wall, there was not an armament of stone that was going to help reduce this from happening in the future. So the new design is, it works for a 100-year event. It is stronger than what it was in the past. I can't say that it is, that it's in place for another dam failure, which is really what we assume happened, because this design takes on 3 to 4 feet of water running out the 100-year event coming through that culvert. But our best guess is that when that storm event happened in the September timeframe, the flow was coming through, but then when the dam failed and the culvert was flowing full, that's what sent it over the top. So
Please tell the audience which dam, when the dam failed.
the dam, there's a dam upstream in the, I'm not too sure what that water body is called. Is it
Bear
the
Park
Pond.
Bear Park Ponds?
Bear Park.
Yes. Thank you.
That didn't fail.
It didn't feel it was overtopped.
Well, I guess all we know is that more water came downstream that was originally, that was capable of handling. So so we're here before you tonight with a design that speaks to fixing the retaining walls in the two places where it is in disrepair, as well as the stream channel itself in that area, and we're compliant with what's called self-verification with the Army Corps. Next slide, please.
That SVN, that's that self-verification?
Yeah, self-verification. So we have a set of plans that was submitted. These are just copies of the plans that are part of the package. There's a erosion and sediment control plan that you see here. If you go to the next slide, this is a standard layout materials. I'll speak a little more detail on the next plan where I have some keyed in notes, but this is a standard layout materials plan showing basically where the scope of the project is. If you go to the next slide, I can speak to, yeah, this one has a little more. So there's really 4 components of the project. Point number 1 is, so this is all in a 200-foot riparian zone, because it's a perennial stream. Nearly all the work is generally in the resource area, because it's inside the stream channel itself. But some of the work that's outside of the stream channel is the abutting property at address 210, where there's a deck to the back of the house, and there's a parking lot or a few parking stalls between there and a shed. Some of that emergency work that has been already performed, repaired the bank, put a base course in, and then through this project, we'll complete that off with a new driveway installation and top it all off to get that back in the shape. So all that gray area that you see around 1 is basically driveway work that's happening in that area. And Greenscape Landscape Services has been working with the abutter to make sure that not only did it happen during the emergency repair, but it will happen in the final course, and it's a highly communicative effort, I believe, that's been going on with that. Point 2 is the wall that failed basically just to the right of the discharge area that you see in the picture. So that dark area above the 2 is new wall that's being replaced in kind. And
That's right here.
correct, right
Yeah,
there.
okay.
And then point 3 is the wall that failed on the CBS side of the property. The black area that you see is the wall is being repaired, and then this slope behind the wall has sloughed because it's been being cut away from the water running through in the wall. being away, and it's crept up all the way to the curb line, where now it's right at the edge of the curb. So CBS has been managing that on site with Greenscape's help to make sure that's been safe. But the project limit is basically what you see in the area. The 4-point area is basically everything that's happening on the inside of the stream channel. So there's a discharge point where all the flow is coming out underneath the CBS site and flowing into the stream channel, and then flowing left to right down. It's called, what's it called, Reservoir Brook?
Yeah, Reservoir Brook, Loss.
Yeah, and Wasp Brook is I think a local name for the brook. So there's new armament and riprap that's happening at the discharge side of the outlet, and then once it turns and starts heading downstream, there's a different design that's in place for the stream channel restoration. And then more significantly is the armament of the embankment between the back of the stockade fence that's on the neighbor's property going down the embankment into the stream channel. That embankment was not armored before, and it's one of the reasons why I believe it failed in the first place, is that when the water was rising up in the stream channel as that larger event was coming through, there was nothing protecting the end of the wall from an armament standpoint. So we're making a point, and we can work within the rules of the Army Corps rules and regs to actually protect the front and the toe of the wall, but also at the end of the wall where the stone will creep up around the backside and up the embankment. And all that stone riprap is on the CBS facing side of the stockade fence and not showing from the neighbor's property. So those are the 4 most points. We try to keep it, everything to the right is pretty natural. There's no reason to keep on chasing down. There's a bunch of trees that are on the neighbor's side of the property towards the embankment that create screening from their backyard to the CBS. So we're trying to stay away from, I think there's a point I have that's on one of the last slides, but one of the points that came up with the Army Corps was that we needed to make notice to a whole bunch of different regulators, and there's an endangered bat, the tricolored bat, that's in the area, and we were told that if we do any type of tree clearing, which is a couple trees, there's a few just because it's near the retaining wall and just to make it safe. There's not tree clearing going on, it's more trimming, but anything we do has to happen before June 1st, because the bats nest after that, and you have to make sure you get it done before. The work is not going to be happening before June 1st as far as the stream work goes, but that piece has to happen before June 1st. Okay, next slide.
What percentage of the neighbor's driveway is getting replaced? Ballpark.
That's more of a, Steve, do you want to?
Yep, thank you. Steve Clifford from Greenscape. Spoke with the owner of the property, and they were gonna replace the driveway in full. So once all the remediation is done, they're gonna mill and replace the entire driveway.
100%.
When you said they, I thought you meant the neighbors.
No.
No.
I was gonna
they-
ask him to clarify
CBS,
the
yeah.
program.
Yeah.
The owner of the.
Neighbors gotta replace their own driveway? That's
Yeah.
not right, okay.
No.
All right, thank you.
CBS will be replacing the driveway in its entirety.
Thank you.
So you guys are not they?
Thank you.
Oh, it took you by surprise.
The other
Them, though. He didn't get the memo.
Yeah, correct. Sorry, go ahead.
Thank you. So this page is more the engineering technical side of the submission. So the RMA is the consulting, environmental consultant that put this together. So basically, it's an engineered stream channel restoration that shows the retaining wall on the CBS side of the property on the left-hand side, the neighbor's property to the right-hand side of each profile, and it shows the different conditions as you go through the stream channel. The stone is, most of the stone that's in the stream channel is of a larger diameter size. It's in a distribution level of like an 18-inch stone. Some are smaller, some are larger, but it averages out around 18 inches. That's part of that chart that you see in
I'm sorry,
blue.
those are stones in the stream bed, or those are?
It's a combination of stream jet and the embankment. So
Okay,
all the stone that's part of this project has been engineered based on a hydraulic calculation of flow through the channel.
Okay.
So as soon as it comes through the channel, it exits the box culvert. From there, all the way down to where this job stops is, all that is engineered, whether it's the embankment on the toe of the wall at the discharge point, or the stone that's after that, leading up to the end of the construction area.
Okay.
Next slide, please. So this plan is kind of a combination of just data for the notice of intent application, as well as data that we needed to have for the self-verification form. It went back and forth several times with the Army Corps, but basically we needed to stay under a certain amount of linear feet of disturbance. And, the Army Corps did not care about all the things that you care about, and maybe vice versa, but we were trying to, do both at the same time to make sure this gets through, because it's important for everyone that this happens in the summer months this year, so that the wall doesn't get into more dire straits than it is right now. But the whole point of this plan is about resource area, disturbance, and checking some boxes on the self-verification form that we needed to classify some data.
Can I ask a question about this map?
Sure.
So this dotted red line, the dashed red line, that indicates the FEMA flood elevation?
The preliminary. So what's interesting about,
It seems kind of low.
yeah, we talked about, so the effective map right now is still the old map that goes through the building,
Oh.
which never changed.
Oh.
From back in the, what was it, the early 2000s? It's like 20, something like 20 years old, I forget the date of the map, but the effective map that's in place is still the original stream channel before they built CBS.
Yeah.
This is the preliminary map that's set at elevation, I think it's 389.4.
69, yeah.
369.4. So we needed to go through and actually do a new survey specifically to set the elevations inside the stream channel, because the definition, the observable high water mark that was tied to the Army Corps, it's different for the Army Corps than it is for the state and the DEP. So there's a combination of data there, but some of that information is off the new flood map elevation that's tied to an elevation that we shot, physically in the field, compared to the delineated line on the effective map.
Yeah, I mean, what caught my eye is that so you've got this FEMA flood elevation that goes through the stream bed itself,
Yeah,
which seems kind of counterintuitive.
yeah, tell me about it.
So that's the stuff you're dealing with.
Yeah, it's been a little bit tricky working with the Army Corps to make sure that we were working within the confines and the rules of their definitions and how they were defining the project versus what all the stakeholders here in this room want to see happen to make sure that this happens this year. So this plan, we spent a lot of work to make sure that we were checking all the right boxes, and that we were staying within the confines, the disturbance levels that they needed to see. Next slide, please. So this is just the email that we got from the DEP, and the one recommendation that they had was that the work be conditioned to occur during the low or no flow dry periods of the year, which that's exactly what we're doing.
Fair enough.
Yeah, next slide, please. So project key points, the ones I could come up with, we're not impacting stream hydraulics, which means this is either improving or not making any worse existing, not pre-existing condition hydraulics within the stream channel that was all modeled. The project is designed for the 100-year event, but not the catastrophic dam failure that happens. Excuse me for the semantics on that. But the new design is more bolstered than the original. Project is considered replaced in kind to meet the Army Corps of Engineers self-verification permit process, as well as seeking this order of conditions. And the current condition of the wall on the CBS side is very precarious right now, and we're seeking to start construction in the summer of 2025, which we believe is critically important. Next slide has the last slide. Future project steps, close out the permitting process with the Army Corps, which are right on the kind of 5-yard line, so to speak. We're right at the end of the 30-day mark, making notification to all the different stakeholders. Pour the core, any tree clearing required needs to happen before June 1st. We're working with Miller Engineering. It's going to be kind of a quasi-design build because it's obviously existing block wall that's there. The new block wall that's going to be replacing the damaged area is going to be, you know, trying to match as close as possible to the type of concrete block that's out there. We're going to set a construction schedule that seeks to start and complete work in the dry season, which is projected to be July, August, September of this year. We're going to set in place an erosion sediment control monitoring reporting schedule to provide construction status updates to this board, to this commission, on a weekly basis throughout construction. And we're suggesting that a pre-construction meeting be scheduled with this commission to review siltation controls and decommissioning and siltation control removal at the end of the project when it's completed through your approval. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's all you got, huh?
That's all I got.
All right. Before I go anywhere, folks, thank you for coming again. I really appreciate you being here. I have one question for you. Are you happy with the progress and what's happening, at least in terms of your property?
No.
Any complaints?
As far as communication, and thank you to Steve, he's been open with us, but the time it has taken, you know,
Yeah.
and I still believe that CVS should have acted right away when we have the state of emergency,
Mhm.
and they had the clearance to do all this work.
Yep.
And the wall, where I'm seeing this, I'm not an engineer, I don't understand fully, but it looks like they're gonna go as far as where it used to be before.
Yeah.
On our end, which still gives us the potential to get the same outcome if this event happens again. So that's a concern for me, and it just more so on like our property, the deck haven't been mentioned, the fence, so I don't know where that stands.
Okay.
If that's in record, on record to say like they're gonna be fixing that as well.
Okay. Can anybody address his concerns ideally now?
I can. So the stockade fence is being replaced in kind, so the stockade fence is going to be replaced. As far as the timing of when it happened, that was before our time. I can't speak to CBS's timing of that. I know that there was talk about the working with FEMA to try to get coverage for that because it wasn't their doing that all that happened.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make excuses for anyone. All I can tell you is that when we came to the Conservation Commission meeting, that meeting happened, work immediately happened after that, and we're trying to do our best to make right. As far as the wall goes, the only thing I can tell you is that in order for us to do the work this year and not have it go into a 2-year process, which is what it was happening with all the different permitting procedures that were going to be in place with the state and the Fed, is that while the wall is being replaced in the same spot where it was, the amount of armament and bolstering that's happening with the stone armor on the front of the wall and at the end of the wall is different and more than what was there in the past. So while the wall might be the same length of wall that was there before, the protection around that wall is such where we are going above and beyond to make that wall a stronger position because of the armoring that's happened with the stone that's being engineered in. And that's a fully modeled condition to try and make it better than what it is, and still working within the confines of the permitting, working with the Corps.
So basically, as I'm sure you caught there as well, is they were, correct me if I'm wrong, but they were looking to basically redo that entire wall, all down your side of the property. But that would have required extensive Army Corps permitting, would have taken us to at least next year, if not the year after. So that, to get something done, and that's still effective, and that would meet certain criteria for flood protection, they're gonna armor that slope on your side of the river versus completely redoing the wall. Does that make sense? I know
Yeah, it makes.
I know it's a permitting thing, and, yeah.
Check.
I was doing it just very quickly. Your deck, the stairs, is that has that been fixed to your satisfaction yet, or?
No, it has not,
Okay, all
we're still
right. So
waiting.
if you could, I don't know who, I don't know if it's you guys work with, you can
Yeah.
make sure that you work with him directly. Maybe even more so than you already are, to
Yes.
make sure that that deck and that stairway is where they want it.
Not a-
Or no, when I say where, I mean, is
How.
sturdy and is how they want it, I guess, is probably a better term.
Thank you.
Anything else? Did I miss anything else?
Um,
And you'll have plenty of time to, if you have questions later, just, you can get, last time you were here, Nick was our
Yes.
agent. Jesse's our new one. Make sure you get his contact information, but if you have any questions, go through Jesse.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys received it. I left a letter at your property last week. Make sure that before you get out of here, I'll go and I'll grab you a business card, and then you at least, if you didn't get that, then you have my contact info.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
You all set for now?
Yes.
Okay, good.
And Chuck, if I could, what?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, Mike, go ahead, Nick.
And as far as future proofing go, there is work upstream happening at the dam to.
True.
To hopefully counter anything that might happen in the future. I mean, there's no guarantees, but
Right.
there's work being done up there as well.
Yeah, and obviously, I mean, you can make things like this last against a 2,000-year flood, but how expensive would that be? There are limits with how expensive these things are, so with that in mind, you do the best you can, knowing that it's not gonna protect against everything in the future, so that's that. Couple questions, anybody else before I get to my questions? All set? Okay. Yes, I'm glad you, so
Last-
number 6,
yeah.
siltation controls. So I was asking about that last week, and you weren't quite sure, so I want to make sure, is that how that ended up on this list? Or was that already there? Do you know?
Right, yeah, no, we added
This
that
was
to the
it.
list.
Yeah.
Art had the recommendation, and
When-
I agree.
Very quickly, when Jesse and I were out there last week, I asked about what kind of siltation control is gonna be downstream of the site to help protect the rest of the stream bed, and he wasn't quite sure, because you're not a siltation expert. So, is that your area? Was that what he was saying?
No, I just made sure that it got on the.
Oh, all right, okay,
the
all right.
project steps. I mean, the siltation controls, they have an erosion control plan as part of the set, and it's
Right,
all shown
right.
on there. They can go back to that if.
We have that, so we have the plan that's in place, but, once you get into construction, it's, in that July, August, September.
Low flow.
Low flow, we are trying to avoid pumping around and having to do that if it, I don't think that stream dries totally, but it does get down to a smaller amount. So
What does the stream look like in the future, in the summer, do you know?
the driest,
It's low, very low.
Is it very low?
Very
Okay.
low.
But it's still there, but
but
it's
it's
very
still
low?
there. It's not, it doesn't dry totally, right? Yeah.
Okay, all right.
But it's, there's different controls. If you are working outside the dry season, then it's a larger, robust plan that you have to put together on paper. So we're trying to get in, get out as quick as possible,
Okay.
separate from doing the work with the driveway and the deck and the stockade fence and
Okay.
repairing the upward landward side of the property. The work in that, should be a 3-month schedule.
Okay, yeah, when you guys do get on site, we would, Jesse would like to see this
Yeah,
siltation control.
absolutely.
That's gonna look like. And I was looking at the materials online this afternoon, and maybe I was looking at the wrong one, but the cross-section showed the CBS parking lot come down at a gradual slope. And basically, the bottom of that slope was even with the top of the retaining wall, which indicates to me that stormwater would come down off the parking lot, across the top of the wall, and then down over into the stream.
It's curved, it's a shoulder, it's
there
a
is
parking
something-
lot, a 4 to 6 inch curb. It's a little bit of a shoulder where the lamp posts are, and then it slopes down.
Like before that Jersey barrier road,
Right.
basically.
Because it just
Yeah,
looks
it's
odd to me
curved,
that-
it's all curved.
I just
All
wanna
the
make sure-
stormwater goes down, there's a catch basin that is in that corner, and it discharges into that box culvert somewhere like
Okay.
within the first 20
No,
feet.
that's fine, I just want to make sure, that I was either
Yeah.
looking at the wrong plan, or I misread it. It looked odd to
There's a
me.
detention basin at CVS too.
In the back,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, a couple more. So you, just to make sure, so you are not extending the culvert? The
That's
culvert's gonna
correct.
stay in,
There's
okay, all right.
no work to the
That was,
culvert.
that was part of that whole
Yeah.
lengthy.
I tried,
And is there a native fish run in this stream?
not
Does
that I know
anybody
of.
know? That was never looked into?
Not through, up Not that I know of.
Okay, all right. Should I ask? Anybody else on the commission have thoughts, comments, questions? Bob?
Yeah, Mike and, was it Nick, Mike and Nick?
Mike's sick.
Yeah, could you tell me why there's no erosion control on the CVS side of the property below this wall that came down?
The emergency repair?
No, well.
Currently,
So
The emergency repair was done, but why wasn't there any erosion control added to the CVS side of the stream?
Because it's a good question. The emergency control that happened on the abutter side was because the parking lot had caved in, the slope had caved in, the back of the deck was being impacted significantly. On the CVS side, where the wall was at the toe of the water channel, and the width of the channel at that point, there wasn't a need in order to protect that side, because there was enough earth that was happening in the toe of the wall, on the left side of the wall, on the right side of the wall, where if you tried to put those large sack bags out in that part, the benefit of doing that was minimal. All the damage was on the abutter side to protect that side. So just there wasn't something in dire straits.
Yeah, I can see how you couldn't put those big bags over there, but the slope is much greater on the CVS part. And it looks like it's still gonna cave in more and more as it goes. I mean, I was just out there and I seen the slope and I go, oh my God. I got a picture of it here if you wanna see it, but.
No, we have all the pictures. Well, that's why we're trying to get this construction to happen this summer.
I mean, there's a huge face opened up there with all gravel and a steep incline. And there's no siltation protection there at all. I mean, any type. I've just wondered why that's not been done, or I guess it wasn't, you didn't think it was needed, or?
Are you talking about on the CVS side, that why wasn't there something put, the bags at the bottom of the wall?
Well, anything, yeah. I don't know if the big bags, I mean, obviously you can't, they just roll over into the brook, but.
Well, I guess because it was, even though that slope was opened up, it was minimal. And we thought there was a month or two to get the work in, to get this job started. It didn't, based on working with Nick at the time, Nick was Creme originally, and Greenscape out on site that goes once a week. The amount of impact that's happened in the stream, it all happened during the event, and was not a continuous outflow into the channel, moved out there every week for months.
That's a large part of the wall that came down, and the wall is still, I mean, the side of the bank is still well exposed.
It is.
And it just goes into the brook.
That's gonna get fixed now, so. Nick?
Yeah, I mean, to that point, I mean, your plans, I really have more of a comment than a question. I appreciate your interest in expediting the construction, and I think it's a prudent solution to replace in kind here. My comment would be that the situation that you're working with is unfortunate. The parking lot of CVS, creates a steep slope against which the river has now been channelized and straightened, and the river also has to accommodate this sharp 45-degree turn as it comes out of the culvert. The problem here is it's a poor design to begin with.
The original.
The original is a poor
Yeah.
design. I just want to comment that, like, in the future, to the extent that you're.
I don't disagree.
To the extent,
I don't disagree,
To the
I
extent that
agree.
you get an opportunity to, like, do a construction job, I would encourage you to, like, advocate for giving the river a little bit more space next time,
Oh, yeah.
so that it's not channelized and straightened in such a way and forced to, flow like this. And I think a lot of the damage that we see is a direct result of that rerouting of the river, its channelization, and, of course, when the river is straightened and channelized, it flows faster, it scours better, and that's why we see all the damage there, that's occurred. So,
I agree.
yeah.
Mike, one thing I mentioned to Nick when Jesse and I were out there last week is looking from CVS Link down into the stream bed, there's a bunch of the stones from the wall that collapsed.
Right.
If you could just, when you folks are there on the stream bed, if you could pull those out of there,
Yes.
just to make it look better.
Yes.
We very appreciate it. Any other comments, thoughts, questions from the commission? No. Folks, go ahead, Rich.
Yeah, just a quick comment. I was disappointed how long it took to get us the plans, and I was somewhat disappointed that it wasn't more better, I guess is a fair phrase.
More gooder.
It's more extensive of a repair, but I understand the obstacle of working through the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, having been in that battle before with very urgent repairs. And I absolutely would want to see this fixed this summer.
Yeah.
Hopefully it won't need to be done twice,
Yeah, no,
but
I
there's
fully appreciate that comment.
balance between waiting till next year to get something longer wall or better wall in some sense. I missed it in reading things that the toe is gonna be more reinforced as well as the end of the wall. So the engineering aspect does make me feel more comfortable than replacing exactly what's there.
Yes.
Which obviously can fail.
Yeah. Well, anything
So-
has the possibility for that, but I
Yes.
appreciate that.
I've worked with the Corps a lot too, and it's usually 4 times
Yeah.
to get it right.
Yeah. It's, I tried.
Do you folks have any more questions while you're here?
Do you have any questions?
No, sorry for now? Okay. Yeah,
I have a question.
good, go, please.
Do you think you'll feel comfortable to park your car there on your new driveway?
We have parked there. Honestly, the first 2 weeks, we didn't park, nor we walked on the deck. Because of just, how it happened and what happened. But through time, we did get, a little bit more confident, and she's able to park her car, and I'm able to go outside and play with my daughter. So, it's not the same. We still are exposed to the drive-through CVS customers.
Because the fence is still gone? Yeah.
It needs the fence, it needs, Steve understands it. I think we
Yeah.
talked more extensively, and I really hope that they, CVS does say they're gonna make it right, and we just hope they will. And
They will.
through time, we'll find out.
I hope you have good confidence you can park there once you see the walls there.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
make sure we get their names
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the TV.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, could you state your name just for the record for the TV?
Sure.
And your address too.
I live on 210 Central Street. We are the owner of the property next to CVS.
Yep.
My name is Musei. First name Mussie, last name Dejene, Dejane.
Wonderful, thank you.
I was out there yesterday and looking over from the CVS side. The end of the deck was like, oh man,
It is.
I'd be afraid to walk on it. That looks like it's going to, it was already angled down and sort of separated too.
That's true, sir.
We're trusting that'll get fixed.
Yeah, I don't know whose responsibility that is and what it is, but that was my observations anyway.
Yeah.
And your name, I'm sorry?
Julianne Ferrer.
Julianne, okay, thank you, Julianne, wonderful. All set?
Yeah, I again apologize, and I'm sure the whole commission does. That first 10 months that we didn't know about this was very unfortunate. CVS did respond after they came and had to listen to how disappointed we were.
Yeah.
As
I missed
recall.
that, I missed that meeting.
Oh, it was fun.
Yeah,
I heard.
That's a shame. But I don't want to hold it up at all now.
Yeah, we all want to get this done as soon as possible in low flow season, so we're looking forward to that getting done.
Yeah.
And we want the neighbors to have comfort,
Yes.
comfort,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And-
during and after.
Good, good, I'm glad you said that, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
So with the DEP number, assuming there are no other questions, comments from everybody else is here with the project, so go ahead, I'll entertain a motion to close, no other questions, comments, correct?
Can I ask one question
Please,
beforehand?
yes.
Just since, they're not planning on doing work until July either way, right?
Oh, major work, yeah.
Yeah, and it sounds like I'm just floating this out there, so do we want to, and I don't have any further questions for these guys,
Mhm.
I think we'd be able to make a motion at the next hearing even without them here. do we want to try to close this and get something issued today, or do we want to allow Steve from Greenscape a chance to talk with CVS about the deck a little bit more and figure?
Yeah,
I know that's
that's
kind
a
of
good
outside of our, I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
I think we can close it, and I think these,
Okay.
I don't think there'll be any issue with the deck.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've already had the conversations with CVS.
Yeah, so you guys are all on the same page?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to bring that up one more time.
no, I appreciate that, no problem with that whatsoever.
Could I ask one more question?
You may.
So we've had an awful lot of water over the last week or so. How has that been?
I've been keeping an eye on it, and the emergency, what is it? the bills?
Repairs, emergency repairs?
It helped,
Good.
it helped, so,
All right.
thank you.
And just on that, we do site assessments every week on everything, just to make
Oh,
sure
all right.
stability is still holding, and
Yeah.
everything is in place, yes.
Good.
Thank you, that's good.
All right, good, thank you.
What exactly is being done on the CVS side, on the slope that Commissioner Seacard was mentioning, is basically just exposed dirt now?
That entire section of wall is being replaced, so it's maybe 10, 15 feet to the left of the opening and to the right of the opening. All new wall, retaining wall,
CVS side.
on the CVS side,
Incline, you said.
in kind.
Yeah.
Incline.
No,
Step
in
back.
kind, meaning it's
Oh,
new
in kind,
retaining
okay.
wall in kind. So the retaining wall is getting infilled, so that it's it's going back to a retaining wall with the same top of slope, and then that slope that goes up, that grass will just be repaired, and filled in behind, up to with the curb line.
So
So
big cobbles on their side, and they're gonna just replace the wall and, well.
Yeah, all the
in-
protection is happening on the residential side. On the CVS sides, it's fixing, repairing, replacing the wall that's damaged and impact in that spot area. And then the slope that you see behind that gets filled in to the geotechnical standard, up to the same height of the retaining wall that's out there, and then that's like a 3-to-1, 4-to-1 slope up to the shoulder where the curb line is.
Okay, I think I misunderstood you. I was hoping for some better protection, but it's just a vertical wall, incline.
It'll be a full retaining wall, right.
Now, are you sure that the top of that curb didn't get scoured and, because it's undermined, it's underneath the tar.
Yeah, that piece up there is part of the project, yeah, that gets replaced.
Yeah, it's all getting fixed and
That
replaced.
any of that damaged area that goes up to the curb and around that curb area, all that is getting replaced. That's the intent. The problem is we can't, the emergency, well, I don't wanna keep on.
Bob, do you have a concern? What's your
Well,
concern?
my concern is that it was probably scoured during the flood, and again.
What got scoured?
We're gonna do
Bob,
this
Bob,
once
Bob,
this summer.
What got scoured?
Right where the middle of if you look at the
Yeah.
CVS side,
Yeah,
the banking that's gone
Yeah.
now and undermining the tar, undermining the curb, it looks like a rush of water from the top.
but
Took over
they're
that.
gonna fill that all in.
Oh,
Yeah,
We're
and
gonna put a
that-
new wall and fill
I-
in behind it.
And if I could, Art from Ecotech.
Yes.
That erosion happened from the bottom.
Yeah.
So it was destabilized at the bottom, liquefied, and it all came down. That was not water coming over
Okay,
the
well,
top.
that's, I just wanted to make sure
Yeah.
that was the case. That's one thing we wanna do once.
Yes.
And not,
Okay.
We both do.
that's all, I was just
Okay.
getting a good impression
All right,
on that.
thank you for the
Thank
clarification,
you.
appreciate that.
Thank you for your call.
Thank you.
All right, then, with that in mind, then, I'll entertain a motion to close this portion of the hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Nick. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Mike. Did we
All right.
take a roll call of the votes?
Yes. Bob,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
and Chuck.
Aye. All right, with that then, I will entertain a motion to approve the notice of intent for the 188 Central Street Realty LLC for the CVS on Central Street, DP number 199-1212, with our standard and general order conditions. Any special order conditions we want to act this? I don't think I heard any. Oh, I asked you to pull the stones from the wall up out of the stream bed. If you can make sure that that gets added to the
I think we
special
should
conditions.
do that, and then, I mean, we already discussed it, so we're on the same page, we'll just add in that it's done during a period of low flow.
That too? You,
Yeah.
all set with those?
Do I have the special conditions?
Yeah, the general and the special conditions, and then those two special conditions.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, so with
Okay.
with that in mind, I'll entertain that motion.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Mike.
Is there any siltation gonna be?
That's number 6 right there.
Okay.
We're gonna have a meeting before they start doing any invasive work where, and you know, I'm happy to let you guys know, I'll probably coordinate with them and then I can let you guys know, I'm more than happy to show everyone what's going on.
And
I'll
there
be-
is a
I'll be
whole
keeping a very
erosion
close eye.
control plan that shows the details of where all the
Yeah.
controls are.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you look in the drive, that's one of the plan sheets that they have in there.
Yeah,
notice.
but by the way, we are in mid-motion here. In fact, I forget where we are.
The motion.
Mike made the motion to issue
The-
standard plus special with the additional special.
That's what we got off track,
and
okay.
low
Was
flow.
there a second?
I will second.
Thank you,
that.
Rich.
Thank you, Doctor.
All right, and for the roll call, Bob?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
And Chuck?
Aye.
All right.
All right, good luck, folks.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Folks,
Thank
thank
you
you so much
guys.
for coming, really appreciate your input.
Thank you so much.
Good luck, and make
I
sure you
wanna-
get,
I'm gonna grab that.
Sorry,
get Jesse's card.
Oh, it
Yeah.
gets better.
We'll take a minute or two break.
It'll get-
Under continuing hearings, these are both getting continued till next meeting, so I'm not even gonna open them. So we'll move right past the continued hearings. I guess there were substantial comments from the DEP, so those are all on the
Yeah, we'll-
address.
I'll be meeting with them this week and they're gonna go over it, but we'll get into it at the next meeting.
Yeah. All right. And just going back to the CVS one, you got those special to removing those?
Yes, I have the
wall stones or stones?
standard plus the revised list you guys have,
Yep.
and then the stones being removed and
Yep.
low flow.
Okay, super. All right, on to the regular meeting, enforcement, 76 Weather Vane Drive discussion. So saw the letter you sent us?
Yes, yeah, so I
That was fine.
left that on there, sent them the letter,
Yep.
that it's certified, so I don't even know if they've gotten it yet. It went out on Monday, I believe, but, you know, I'll keep an eye, I'll go and check in with them sometime this week and
Okay.
hopefully they've gotten it by then. so.
All right, cool. All right, under meeting minutes, I looked at both, March 11th and 25th, they both look fine to me with the edits and comments that are already in there. Does anybody else have any thoughts, problems with them?
Just for Jesse to
Yes.
go through and you accept all the comments, look at them so you see what, the little stuff we had.
That's what I'm gonna, yeah, hopefully as I see what you guys are looking for, there will be a need for
So
less
this time
edits.
I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, you are.
gotta do it.
No, that works, that's totally fine,
We-
yeah,
we-
that's what I'm here for.
We tend to get kind of picky.
That's
So,
fine.
I'll entertain a motion then to approve the meeting minutes for the March 11th, 2025 meeting.
I can make that motion.
Thank you, Bob. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Rich.
All right, and Nick,
I'll vote for that. Aye.
very nice. Mike?
Aye.
Bob? Rich?
Yes.
And Chuck?
Aye. All right. In that same vein, I will entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes for the March 25th, 2025 meeting,
As edited.
as edited and commented on by the commission.
Very nice.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Mike.
Mike, do you approve?
Aye.
Sorry, I'm getting down. Okay. Nick?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
And Chuck?
Aye.
All right.
All right, cool. Nothing on the commissioner comments? Anybody have anything you want to bring up? No? Okay.
I'm all good.
No, other than to make it kind of formal that in not using Governor Healy's proclamation that we could potentially have remote meetings due to the COVID-19 state of emergency,
Sure.
It's not
which
gonna
I
happen.
say with real sarcasm.
Thank
you.
Thank you. It is 2025.
It is.
So,
No.
yeah.
Plus
So,
that
We
wouldn't-
like open meetings like this.
I like it too.
When,
Makes my life a lot easier, genuinely, so
When,
I appreciate it.
was it before Nick, the agent, beginning with an A? Was it an A?
Angela?
Angela.
Jules?
When Angela was doing those all online.
It was awful.
It's a
Awful.
nightmare.
No, you've got to have an IT consultant with you, and
Yeah.
she was doing 3 jobs at once. It was ridiculous.
Well, plus she was out in Winchester, someplace
And-
had no internet.
And that too. So
It
no,
was the same
no.
thing for me in Auburn, even being I ran them from the town hall, but just getting the audio and it was a nightmare, so.
No, so
I like this.
That's,
I'm on the same page.
if the
as
mayor
you
wants to
guys.
watch us, he can, it's not happening under my watch.
Did we do any?
Oh, yeah, the first 6 months. we-
Probably during 2020 you would have had to.
Yeah, well, I started in June, I think,
We
that
didn't do
year.
a lot because
Yeah,
her
we-
internet had failed and we canceled the meetings.
We didn't start till 21 or something.
Yeah.
All right, anyway, moving on. Nothing under request for certificate of compliance, but we do have some requests for extension permits.
Yeah, so with the Lake Samoset ones, we can ignore those for tonight. I'm gonna be meeting with Mike Valley, he's on the association there, so he's gonna give me a little more info on what these are exactly for.
Okay.
So we can just forget about those.
Okay,
With Litchfield Street, I've got a copy of the NOI right here, that's the bridge replacement for Fallbrook, they just.
yeah, I was wondering why that hadn't happened yet. I drove over that a week or two ago, I was wondering what the hell was going on.
Yeah, so it's DPW who, obviously, went for the actual, they're the ones who applied for the permit,
Yep.
and they're still just working things out with contractors, trying to get them on it,
So how long do how long do they want? Another 3 years?
I think they want another 3, I think that's just a safe bet, it's DPW, so.
Yeah, it's gonna get done.
Yeah,
It's been armored, right?
I believe so. I
Oh,
actually
was it?
haven't-
I have no idea.
I
Actually,
think it's
haven't
been
seen
armored.
this yet, but-
After under emergency authorization, it was armored but not replaced.
Right, okay.
Big
All right.
project, so.
So we need an accepted motion on that, right? to-
We would need a
Okay,
motion,
all right.
yes.
Then, based on the agent's request, or passing on the request from DPW, I'll entertain a motion to approve a 3-year extension permit for the order conditions for the Litchfield Street project, DEP number 199-1149.
I will make that motion
Thank you, Michael.
and people will be very happy.
Well, that's a great motion to make.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank
You will
you.
have no,
I want to be
pushback there.
popular too.
All right, and for the call on that one, Bob,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
and Chuck.
Aye.
All right.
All right, moving on to the end. Next meeting will be April 22nd, 2025. The filing deadline was this past Friday, April 4th, 2025 at noon. And again, I will not be at that one. Rich will handle the chair duties. Meeting after that will be May 13th, 2025. The filing deadline is Friday, April 25th, 2025 at noon. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Can I
Oh,
ask a more question?
Sure.
Jesse, do you
Yes.
have a file number for the?
We do not actually have a file number yet for one of the Fallbrook
Okay,
projects.
so one of them has extensive comments to review.
Yeah, the extensive comments for one were kind of applicable to both.
Okay,
So
okay.
I'm gonna put that in the drive tomorrow, and I'll take notes. I'm meeting with them on either Thursday or Friday to go over
No.
the comments with the guys
Oh,
from
no, the
Langen
first one.
Engineering.
Okay, so Langen's gonna comment on that and you'll,
Yeah, and then
They'll be-
they'll be at the next hearing, so we
Okay.
can all go over it
Okay.
together.
okay,
But
cool.
I'll try to keep you guys.
What do you have to put in the driveway, like?
I'm just gonna put a
response to
copy of
comments?
the comments from DEP, so
Okay.
you guys can take a look beforehand if you want.
I was gonna search the file directly, but.
Yeah, try to make it a little bit
Sure,
easier
yeah,
for you
thanks,
guys.
thanks for that.
Yeah. And well, we can adjourn, but I
Yeah,
just
okay.
need signatures.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
All right.
I'll make that
Yeah,
motion.
so this
Thank you,
is
Nick.
the order of
Thank you, Bob.
conditions for that New England Power Company project.
There's
These
a
are
motion in
both-
progress here, guys.
Sorry,
We
I'm
read
getting ahead of myself.
A motion by Nick and seconded by Bob to adjourn.
Okay, how do you vote on that, Bob?
I would move that forward with a big aye.
Move that forward. Nick?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
And Chuck?
Aye.
Adjourned.